LuLaRoe.
LuLaRoe.
What in the hell? LuLaRoe, what is that?
We are creating confidence and security.
I had achieved the dream. I was selling magic leggings.
This is a huge opportunity in America.
Women were selling breast milk so they could afford startup costs.
It had just become a circus.
Mark starts spouting off passages from the Book of Mormon.
A mass delusion.
Oh my God, I'm in a cult.
Did any of them have a clue how to run a company of this size? No.
What is the real story of LuLaRoe?
Starfish, we're back on.
Woo.
And we're back on with this whole second parter of the LuLaRoe pyramid scheme.
Great job. You said it right. Yeah.
I did. I know. I'm finally getting it now the second time around. So
lots of practice, right?
Yes, definitely. So we left off, we talked about how the pyramid has been structured and like their leadership events, quote unquote, where they had a lot of food, music. They even had a cruise. You know, they had a lot of anti-feminist rhetoric underlying everything. They also had a lot of anti-gay and anti-racial stuff. You know, it's like it was just put towards white woman. You know, this we're going to just focus on the white woman for this business. They paid Katy Perry $5 million to show up to an event.
Wow. I'm surprised. She probably didn't know what was going on with it, but that just does not sound like her jam at all. But
yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Bucks.
I know. But, you know, that's a pretty big price tag for that, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, what religion? Here I am.
Right? Like, I guess I could whip out a couple songs for them.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. Fireworks.
Yeah. So anyway, so here's where things kind of start to go to hell. So in 2016 is when they had their most success. Like I said, last episode that they had 70 million in sales, and they started offering the $5,000 to $10,000 packages, asking women to sell breast milk to start up their inventory costs and stuff. So here's where it goes bad. The 1% of LuLaRoe, they were making over $150,000 a month in bonuses. Well, 70% of their sellers made nothing and actually probably went into debt.
Right. Because the $10,000 for however many people, yeah, that makes sense. You're bringing on people.
So what Deanne was doing, or what Mark was doing, I guess he's the CEO of the company, so we'll just go straight to the top. He was giving the recruiters money, like bonus checks, to recruit more people. It wasn't based off sales. Like the typical MLMs that you see, which is multi-level marketing, which is different than a pyramid. Pyramid is where you're recruiting people just to buy your shitty inventory, right? That's illegal for a reason. And MLMs, it's usually based off your sales. Your bonus checks come off of what your sales are, right?
Okay.
There's rules behind it that you need to follow. There's the 70% rule where once you sold 70% of your inventory, then you can get more inventory. So there's a bunch of rules and regulations around MLM. And I'm glad they have that because they're still out there. I don't like them personally. I think they're shady as shit. And I don't care how legit you think you make them. I'm not a fan of it. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the people selling the product are always the ones that are victims. You know, they hardly make much of anything for all the effort that they do for your stupid product.
Yeah.
So
it feels anything like this, like that's a hierarchy where if you can recruit more people, you can make more money. It just obviously sounds like a scam. The only reason you're making money is because I'm giving it to you. It's not because you're selling. It's not because the product is good. It's because I'm giving you that money. So
yeah, it just really sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, they started getting in trouble in 2017 with the law, which they should. So they decided to change their bonus check policy. So instead of the sales being based on the recruitment, it was then based on the actual sales. They also offered a buyback policy that they said would not expire. So a lot of people just kind of left. They're like, okay, screw this. I'm sending all my shit back. I'm done. Like, this isn't making me any money. It's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
But then it's like the people said that it expired after 2 months. Like, at first they put out something that said it doesn't expire. And then they said, oh, after 2 months, because they were losing money. Because everybody
returned their shit.
Yeah.
And
and I want to also point out this too. During this time, like I said, they don't know how to run a business, right? Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they did not have in place like warehouses to hold all of this inventory that they were selling. So they left their inventory sitting outside, exposed to sunlight, exposed to the elements. So people were getting boxes full of like shitty crap. People were complaining that it was moldy, that it smelled funny, that it was like sun faded. The material got crappier. It had holes in it. And these people were not getting their money back. Like, they would buy into this, get a box full of bullshit, crap, shitty product, which this pisses me off because I would be pissed. And then now they try to say, hey, I got this crappy product. And then LuLaRoe would send them an email and be like, you can no longer sell for us. And then they're out that $5 to $10,000 that they spent. And they have all this bullshit sitting in their garage that they can't sell.
Yeah.
So that's illegal and shitty. Don't do that to people.
So it's illegal to give them product that they can't sell.
You need to have a refund policy for stuff like that. I did in my company. I had people break my shit all the time and send it back, and I would send them a new one. It's just the fucking cost of business, you know?
Yeah. So I used to have people return things. I used to work at one department store, and they would return things from the competing department store, and we still took it. We're like, okay, fine. But I've seen the videos of the women talking about this, showing the pictures of the holes and showing the pictures of the boxes coming, and they're all smashed and open. And they're like, how am I supposed to sell this? But I didn't know they weren't taking their money back. That's insane. Oh, boy.
It's so shitty. All these people are totally stuck. And then on top of it, so now all your top sellers that you were used to getting these $150,000 bonus checks.
Yeah.
Because they have like 50 people under them. Or whatever, 50 to 100 people under them. Now their bonus checks have been cut in half. One lady said she went from getting $6,000 checks to $800 checks.
Oh my gosh.
Think about that too, and you're like, well, what the hell? Also, here's the other illegal thing these little assholes did, and I'm going to call them that. Fuckers. I guess if you want to be a criminal, you might as well go big or go home. So they started 17 LLCs in 2017 to hide the money that they were making.
Mm-hmm.
To like put it in different companies, right? Like, we're going to start all these fake companies now and put money there.
Right, because if you get over a certain amount, they start to look at you. Yep.
Right? There's another little illegal bullshitty tactic that they did.
I know. I've seen the videos of this woman too, and she's like, I just wanted to help people start a business, and it's just like, you're such a liar. You can just tell. God.
I know.
When they pull crap like this, you're like, oh, really? Did you? Oh, you were trying to help people start a business. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And I'm sure that a lot of these people that they recruited from the get-go, there's some shady people, right? Like, you're dealing with a lot of people. There's some shady characters in there that are like, okay, well, I know how to make the money. I'm just going to get all the bonus checks and then make all these people buy all this bullshit that they can't fucking sell. Because, like, there's, like, moldy leggings and bees coming out of their crotch and a hamburger vagina print.
Shoot, I can do that.
Right? So not only did that happen, let's talk about also what happened with the designers. So there was one designer that had started with them, and she couldn't keep up with the demand. It's like she had to design so much stuff. So the designers started copying other designers' stuff. And I know personally you can get real in a lot of trouble with copyrighted stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they were like slightly changing things. Like, she told them, like, in order to make it legal, you have to change it by 20%. Like, there's parameters,
right,
and, like, different things that you have to abide by. Well, of course, with as much crap that they're pumping out, they didn't have time to like go through and try to find what's copyrighted and what's not.
Right.
So then now you got all these lawsuits coming in for all the designs that you're copywriting on your shitty ass stretch pants. Glorified fucking stretch pants that you're selling.
Right. The McRib pants, basically.
Yeah.
The same concept.
Right. Like, And it's like, so how is someone supposed to sell moldy leggings or leggings that have prints like that or illegal prints? Now you're putting that person in a liability situation too. You know,
right.
Someone could catch on, or the designer that originally made that mark could be like, what the hell?
Right.
You know, and then you get the copyright lawyer. Let me just tell you, I know about that. My business, they're expensive. Okay.
Huh.
And you don't want to mess with that. So
yeah.
So then 2017 is when they were trying to right the ship of the company. Like they attempted to right the ship, but they did it very poorly and shady because they're assholes. You know, these are predators. These are people that are just taking advantage of people so that they could live a lavish lifestyle. That's it. That's the story right there.
So true. Yeah.
You know, and these are the people
they're going to get away with it.
That just piss me off. Of course they are.
I know.
I mean, look at all the other MLMs out there, honestly. I think MLM should be illegal, personally. I just think that's a bullshit model. It's a bullshit way to start a business. They really could have been a legit company. They could have sold to Walmart. They could have sold to Target. They could have sold to fucking Amazon. And they would have been just as successful without having to create this pyramid of bullshit.
Yeah.
Of like all these white women that are just trying to get by on their shitty incomes that we have in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
Thanks to the 1%, people like Mark and Deanne. I just super hate these people. So I guess in 2018, they were then headed to their summer convention. They faced over 20 lawsuits at this point.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? I mean, you'd be in court like all the time.
Yeah. I've seen some of her depositions. They're pretty fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're very entertaining.
I didn't know I was doing anything illegal.
Right? Like, it's just so innocent. You know, the things that they say, they're like, oh, we had no idea it was going to be this big. And the only reason that people aren't successful at it is because they're not good at selling stuff. And it's like, no, you're giving them shitty product to sell.
Right.
And you're forcing them to buy your shitty product.
Right.
And so, like, there were some people that they would be in a neighborhood, right? Like these LuLaRoe sellers. And there would be like 5 sellers on their block.
Wow.
Because usually with MLMs, you have to have a balance of different distributors. Like, you can't just have like a bunch of people all in one place. And that's what makes it all pyramid-y, right? Right. And so, like, all these people are competing with everything around them. And they can't do anything with it. So that's where the failure is. And they're trying to blame it on these women. Well, you just don't know how to do business. You don't know what you're doing. Well, let's talk about business, Mark. Okay? Like, let's talk about how to run a fucking business, first of all.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not going to be blaming all these poor women that you're shoving your bullshit down their throat, which actually brings me to a personal story about this. So one of my friends and one of our fans on the show, she's allowed me to use her name, Miss Sarah. She actually had a personal experience with LuLaRoe seller. So this is the kind of shit that these assholes are doing. So I'm going to read you her little story because I think it's good.
Yeah.
So she says, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was trying to find a rental home and sell the home that we were living in. So she was packing up everything and to expedite the planning process for the home we had just commissioned to be built for us. So she had a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
So she said businesses were starting to close, so we had to hurry through the interior design portion of building the new home. And so it was like a lot of stress that was on her at this time. Yeah. And so she said during one of my late night online shopping therapy sessions, I went to see what was available with LuLaRoe. So she went online to take a look at what they had to sell. Yeah. So she's like, I found a flame print hoodie that I couldn't live without because it was in my size. And she said, this rarely happens with LuLaRoe. And I would say she's like a taller woman. Like, she's very well built. She's not like a large girl at all. Yeah. And so obviously I think they had a lot of sizing things too. I mean, I don't think I ever had LuLaRoe come across any of my social media, maybe because they're like trying to find like skinny women to sell to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably, you know, wouldn't surprise me, you know.
I've seen some of the video and it seems like they're all sizes, but I don't know. Maybe they were just lying.
It could be. So anyway, so she said, when I received my item, it was not what I ordered. So I messaged the person who sold it to me, and she informed me that she mixed up my order with someone else. And so she got in touch with them and asked if we would mail the items to each other. We both agreed to do so, and not even 1 week had gone by, and I received a message from the LuLaRoe seller. She said, would you please be respectful and mail the item to the other person today? And so she said, well, I responded, wow, rude. And the seller said, rude is not sending the item within 24 hours. Sarah was like, okay, but this is not my business I'm trying to run. I'm actually doing you a favor by sending my product to the other person, and technically I could just keep it.
Yeah. Right.
And so the seller was like, if you refuse to mail it to her, I'm going to send the police to your house to arrest you for theft.
Whoa.
And then,
wow.
So Sarah responded, please do. I would love to have other witnesses to your craziness. It's going to be difficult to prove I stole from you when the package was mailed to me with my name on it. Maybe you should have taken a minute to make sure you were sending the correct item to the correct person, like a professional would do, and you wouldn't be in this situation. Also, this is your business. If you make a mistake and would like your client to help you in any way, you should be professional and polite, right?
Yeah.
Needless to say, I know how hard it is to find things you want that are actually in your size with this company. So out of respect for the other person whose order you messed up, I'll mail this out tomorrow when I get off of work. And then the seller was like, well, that's all I was asking for in the first place. You know,
okay,
it's just,
but like Amazon gives you like 30 days, you know.
right? Yeah, like you get like a time frame. So again, this is the pressure that I think was coming down on these sellers from these asshole Mark and Deanne and like whatever the rest of their company. You know, they're like, sell, 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 and be as rude and shitty as possible. I don't know. Like, you know, there's an etiquette to things in business. And obviously,
they're not really working for them. They're sort of like contractors. So they were kind of basically just putting their product out with these people that, did they train them? Did they just want your money and they send you along the way? I mean, that was a risk on their part. You can tell that this was a bad idea simply because they were just willing to give it to anybody to sell.
Right.
Train the people, make sure that they're representing your company. I would be horrified to hear somebody doing that. But if they're a contractor, they don't really have any control over them other than you can just yank their ability to sell, I guess.
Right. And that's about it. After they bought all this shit and then you don't give them a refund for anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear Sarah didn't buy into the company, right?
No, yeah.
She
no,
just
she
bought
she was just a customer.
Did she get her sweatshirt?
Yes, she did.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
I guess she did like it, but like she said, it was just kind of shady. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the whole thing. The whole time I'm listening and watching this thing, I'm just like, why didn't you just do it legit, you idiots? It sounded like you had a great product. Just do it right.
If you think about it, that's genius. Like, there's only so many patterns, you know, for this print and these leggings. Like, it's a one-of-a-kind thing. So that's perfect. That's what everybody wants, unique stuff. You know, nobody wants the same of everything. They want something that is tailored to them.
Well, there's candle companies like that where you can only buy it from the candle lady, you know. And I don't mind. Like, I'll call the candle lady and ask her for the candles. And they rotate like that, too. Like, they're constantly rotating. But, you know, I don't know. It is a little bit of a pain, but I think that model is okay as long as it's not bad product that they can't return. All the other.
Yeah, you have to. And that's the legal part of it. It's like you have to have a good return policy for everything. You know, it's just like any other retailer. But like with the MLMs, they really do. Like, there's a lot of laws that have been put in place because of pyramid schemes like LuLaRoe. And they claim that they were never a pyramid scheme, but it's just so blatantly obvious. Much so that, like, Washington State in 2019, they filed a civil lawsuit against the company for operating as a legal pyramid scheme. And I think they just settled this past February in 2021 for $4.7 million.
Go Washington.
So
they don't even live there.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and do that. But here's the thing that also makes me mad about these lawsuits too. Does the money actually go back to the victims? And I'm going to tell you from a personal experience with Seller's Playbook, if you recall, I got a small fraction back of the money that I had originally, even though the banks gave me my money back because I was smart about it.
Right.
If I had not done that, let's just say I used cash to pay for that ridiculous amount, I would still be out $35,000, and these women are out anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, which is a lot of money, and they can't get that money back. And I'm sure that they're probably only going to see like a small portion come back to them, and that's why I don't like these stupid state lawsuits. I feel like they should get all their money back, but they're not.
Like, every state would have to sue them, you know.
Right.
They sold it online probably, and they gave it to multiple
Yeah.
people in multiple states. And
I actually did read that too. Like, so of the 4.75 million, $4 million was going to go back to the people, but then the 0.75 million was going to go to the state. And I'm like, okay, what's that?
for what?
Right?
For like doing the deposition and stuff, I guess. I don't know. That's
I
stupid.
mean, I don't know. I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
the whole thing. Like, it just
Yeah.
sucks because you're always going to have these victims that are never going to get their money back.
Right.
Like, they were just trying to make an extra buck on the side, and now here they are in some ungodly amount of debt. Way worse off than they were when they started.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I have the problem with this shit, and it makes me angry. I think they're still going through. I guess now they've changed things even more. These assholes are still in business.
Yeah, no kidding. I know.
I don't think
On
we'll
the
ever.
website and everything.
I don't think that they'll ever go to jail. They never do.
No.
The Seller's Playbook people, I don't think ever went to jail. Like, nobody fucking goes to jail anymore. We can just go ahead and start this damn pyramid scheme and not have to serve any time and make millions and disappear. What the fuck?
We should do a whole podcast on how we designed our pyramid scheme so that we can just show people how easy it is to make a scam off of other people. And you can just keep a bunch of the money, probably, you know?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
These are like the worst criminals, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think what pisses me off too is that they try to pretend like they are all innocent, you know, like, oh, we aren't doing anything. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, every time. Yeah, they're like, well, it's the woman's fault that they're not good enough at selling. So let's blame the woman on that.
Right.
On my bullshitty product that we're shoving down your throat.
After literally telling them to shove nasty things down their throat, they then blame them. What, for not taking it deep enough or what? Sorry, it's so fucked up.
I know. It is. It's such a messed up story. This is one of those that just really gets under my skin. And it's because there's like thousands of victims to this.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like a small little story. They did LuLaRoe. If you guys get a chance, check it out on Prime Video if you have it. They did a really good job exposing these assholes and talking about if you want to learn more about this story. But yeah, this is just one of those where it just is disgusting that there's so many victims. I think there was like 80,000 people trying to sell this crap at one point. So, and these assholes, they're still out there. They're still in business. Like, now they're some sort of MLM structure where now they're trying to play by the rules and be regulated. And I just hope everyone stops buying their shit and they go away.
Yeah. I heard they weren't even that good a quality either, you know, not just because they had been sitting out in the sun, but because they were just sort of cheap.
Well, they also had to sue their manufacturer too, because they weren't paying their manufacturer for 4 months. So they sued them for $49 million. And apparently they were best friends, Mark and the CEO of the manufacturer. So they're both, it's just a shady bunch of people.
Right. Well, that was a crazy story. Can't even believe that.
I know.
Sorry to the women who got themselves involved in this. I hope you get some of your money back and you can move on. Jeez.
Yeah, I really do. I just hope that there's some sort of redemption for at least the majority of these people somehow, like, that just get sucked into this, because it's not fair. And they were also conned into like spending all their bonus checks. So a lot of these 1% people ended up bankrupt at the end. The whole thing was gross.
Yeah. Well, I'll steal from what we were talking about earlier, that their lives are Lula ruined now.
Yeah, it's very much Lula ruin.
Oh,
Lula ruin. There it is.
Oh boy. Well, good episode. A good episode. All right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Real Talk. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. We look forward to having you on our next one.